Smart 24, driving business.
Wow, what a day. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are watching us from. This is Fat Talks again. I will tell us about that. The little I know is that I have issues. I'm looking forward to this conversation. And so, I'm going to introduce our guest speaker today. There was a meeting at one time, the 9th meeting. They realized that there actually was a consensus that be included in a workspace so that every time you gather as a team, you actually measure how your team is working. So now, every time the members realized that they had to include this in terms of sustainability. The people that are doing these tasks, how resilient? How can you measure how they are doing? What are the methods or the mechanisms? How can you ensure that your team is performing at its best, yeah? So today, we have I'm looking forward. So I hope you're settled in there and you're looking forward to being part of expecting from in this conversation. But also, if you're on X Spaces, please do that and then let us know and let's converse together. So we have a privilege to celebrate this, especially our speaker today, on how she's contributing or making her own contribution to this aspect of resilience. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce to you a lady called Jerry Opoka. And I surely know that I've said that well. Yeah. Jerry Opoka, allow me to read this, is a holistic wellness consultant. She's certified in the menopause weight loss, as a menopause weight loss coach. Wow. She's a certified Zumba instructor. She's oh my gosh, she's a mental health advocate. You'll also learn more about that. She's a mother, she's a wife, and she has 2 lovely teenagers. And yeah, she's a wife to 1 husband. You will know more about that. She has 15 years and the hospital. She is especially passionate about women transitioning from premenopause through find and maintain optimal health and vitality. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today she marries her 10 years. The body works, its language of communication, and how we can all best integrate this and get support. What a powerhouse. You will join me and welcome our guest speaker today, Madam Jerry Opoka.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
It's exciting to have you here.
It's exciting. I love listening to my own profile. I'm always like, oh wow, oh wow.
Who's that?
Who's that?
Should they come in? No, it's lovely. And it's always lovely to spell it out to someone. This is who you are. Yeah. This is what your hard work has. Really, it's the fruit of your hard work. It gives me so much pleasure.
It took some work for me to accept it and receive it, but I do now, yes.
Yeah, and I like doing it. I think I need to do that as a profession. Read people's profiles.
Yeah.
No, it's very good to have you.
Thank
this
you.
is Fat Talks. We do this every Thursday, so feel free to stick around next Thursday. So much English in there. Feel free to break it down, just in non-English terms.
So,
what didn't I mention?
No, you've mentioned everything, but I think I want to underline the lifeist, because a lot of people growing up was that person who liked to party, who liked to, be around.
Came to mind.
I do, yes, but I'm also a person who loves to question life. Okay. I want to understand situations. When we look at certain situations as they present themselves, we meet a life around what is shallow.
Okay.
So when we keep asking the why, understand God in such great depth. So everything that I do, the menopause, weight loss, like butterflies, whatever we've been, we're now coming to our own. And yet, because we don't understand that, the transition phase is painful, and many of us literally die at that point, or we start to die at that point.
Wow.
Because it seems like life is over. So, yeah.
Now I'm thinking, this is where I'm having this conversation. It's personal. Slide it in there.
So I was doing very well in the corporate scene.
Okay.
But I think my soul was tired. Like I wanted more.
Okay.
And I did not know what more was. Of consulting, of anything that people who leaves a cushy job with, a good salary. I stayed because I was afraid. But because I was not, my soul was not into it anymore. I was conflicting with everyone and everyone and everything. It's out. I can just relax. Yes, it's a chance of a lifetime. If anyone is like, why aren't you working? Well, I'm still looking for a job even though I wasn't. But I decided to dance. I was already dancing, I found gold. I just felt like, oh.
Anything else?
Yes, but then it was a bit unserious, because at my age then, who decides to dance? First of all, who is dancing in this town? It's just some young guys. There's no ladies in that. So I love dancing. I love dancing so much. So I stuck my head in the sand and pretended that.
You can pause it. Just get out from there.
I think I was born dancing.
They tell us even though I'm dancing in the belly or something.
I'm one of those ones who was born dancing. I love dancing so
Just
much.
To give a user perspective of passion.
Any chance. Actually, I dance so much that meaningful with music on, because I dance. I dance in my head. I dance like I start to bob my head. I cannot. So that is me.
Okay. I'm holding myself. Were you dancing? Were you part of so many other school things?
It was anything that was fun.
Some skeletons.
It was anything that was fun is not fun. I struggle.
Okay.
And if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. And for as long as I can control it, I do not do it. I don't care. I don't do things that are not fun. Okay. Because, what's the point, right?
That better be fun.
I love talking also, so this is good.
Okay.
So I danced and decided that since I did not know anything about fitness, but
That's to the
yes, and
the fun.
Exactly. And when I started my own class, I kind of thought I would have all kinds of people, like all my friends, the guy to speak into these women and allow them to speak into my life as well. So I started using a lot of my life stories, my struggles, the challenges that I'd been through to kind of say to the ladies that, you know what, it's okay. We are created as we are, not by mistake. There must be a reason behind it, and why we are the way we are. And it caught on like a wildfire.
Wow. Purpose to the fun.
Yes. It caught on like a wildfire. I always say to the ladies, in this room we are just girls who want to have fun, to dance. And it allowed me to see how much people were suffering. Suffering to stay above and boxes that we were confined in. Because as a woman, when you are a young girl, the things you're supposed to do, don't do this, don't talk like this, don't sit here, don't. Then you become a teenager. The rules change and they become tighter. Then in early 20s, the rest of the world is judging us harshly. But the minute you go from girlfriend to wife, please, you cannot attend certain parties anymore. You cannot do certain things, so you conform. You have your children, you're a certain way. Now you hit 30, children are grown or growing, they become more independent, even though they're, young teenagers and all. They become more independent, and now you're starting to ask, who am I? And the boxes get tighter. So how then do we release ourselves from mild or low-key depression? And we started addressing that through conversation, but also reminding the women that we have to be body positive, that regardless of how much weight we've gained or how quote unquote amorphous we feel like we are. The word amorphous. How amorphous we felt. We got to where we were. We were focused on children, we were focused on husbands, building careers, that we forgot who we were. And in fact, for us to continue doing those things, sometimes we had to eat up. This is what it is. Now, can we love ourselves, first of all, for who we are, and then walk ourselves back to whatever it is that we want. I didn't allow people to tell me, and everybody lost weight, interestingly.
In the home.
Because then they were very consistent and they loved what we were doing.
Since you're taking me full speed, I'm going to take you full back. Dancing for fun. Now, what happens from there? So did you have a home? No one is joining me. So what changed that? Like, what was the process of changing to see people walk through the room, or what was that process like?
First, when I went to this dance class that I absolutely fell in love with, I immediately knew that I wanted to teach other people. Started with the class. I would look, so the way I danced was emphasizing certain moves so that whoever is looking can see what the instructor is doing. So I became like the assistant instructor, the
self-appointed.
The one they say in Uganda, Lugezi Gezi, that one. I'm the one who's like,
yes.
And then sometimes after the class, I'll go and say, oh, this move, like this is how it's done.
Very appointed.
Very, very appointed. But then I also thought a month later that I want to go and find another place to do this. I tried to look, but then every time I thought I was ready, I would feel like, really, Jerry, are you ready to go on your own? But eventually, the instructor decided she wanted to start a second class.
Oh, wow.
And I thought,
look at luck.
Perfect opportunity.
Yes.
And so this second class was at the mall, at Acacia Mall. And I said to myself, people at the mall don't know me. But when I walk in with this lady, everybody must think I am the instructor.
Nice.
So, I danced at the front for a solid month. She barely danced. At the end of the month, she said, Jerry, I'm dropping this class. You can have it.
Wow.
Next, she told me on a Saturday. On Tuesday, you'll have that. Oh my God, what am I going to do? But we had a launch class, and then we started. But I came from a class that had about 80. By the time I left, we were about 80 in a class.
8 to 80.
80.
80, okay.
80.
Wow.
And so I thought, I will have at least 40 of those. And I did not. And I did not. And I did not. And I did not.
How was that going? you know, first class, second class.
So it was, first of all, it was a constant reminder that I did not know what I wanted to do. Never mind that I wasn't as good as. I did not know what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. And that scared me a lot.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I knew was that I wanted to dance. I wanted to show people, if only one day at a time, how to do it, how to, and I felt like I was releasing something every time we danced. So I wanted to help other people experience that. So that became the thing that I did. And I remember one time I spoke to the instructor and I said, but I don't have very big numbers and I'm worried. And she said, you know what? I think you might be trying to be me.
Okay.
She said, you have to be tribe.
You pull your
Comes
tribe.
to you.
Wow.
I was like, okay. And I did.
Oh,
And the tribe came.
wow.
And it became a repeat the words, I am enough. We said it so much that people actually started to believe that, you know, we are all enough.
Okay.
I'm enough. That which they felt, you know, was lacking.
Was a little demon.
Yes. And the dancing, how the dancing helps is that it kind of shakes loose. So that after
You can dance with what you Anyway, yeah.
So that after the dance, we're ready to speak.
Yeah.
Very unprompted. There's nothing to hide. So the changing room conversations started to morph into healing stories, and suddenly they wanted to take those stories.
As you can already see, that's a struggle of the mind. You're trying to know one, you need to let go, and then you have to allow new people come into your life. The faith to think that people will come.
Yes.
I think that also requires some little strength. I want you to and allow your people to come to you.
Yeah.
How was that like? And who was the first person who walked through? How did that make you feel?
It was hard.
Okay.
But I also recognized the fact that I was walking into totally new territory. And I had to give myself the grace to know that I don't know what I'm doing, but I have a slot and I want to use it the best way that I can.
Yeah.
Every time somebody, even one person, said it tickled something in them, what is my message? What is my message to the class? What is my message outside the class?
Okay.
If I'm putting an advert out, what am I inviting people to partake of?
Yeah.
And
why should they come?
Yes, why should they come to me? Why should they come to this chick who knows nothing about fitness? Who's even I was quite overweight then.
You were?
Yes.
This is why it's interactive. Is there a before and after photo?
I do have some very, but I knew how to dance, so I said, you know, let's do this and let's hold each other's hands.
Yes.
So I really welcomed people who were not looking to torture themselves with goals and numbers that, you know, were the driving factor, but to allow ourselves to, you know, get into us. So I defined my tone, I defined the language that I wanted people to know me by. And then I went out like a crazy person, just, you know, dancing everywhere. You know, Jerry,